everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be the continuation of our testing a bunch of best-selling foundations from Sephora. So today's video is going to be about the Lancome Teint Idole Foundation. I'm going to be doing a review in a wear test. Technically, I've definitely worn this a million times. This is one of my all-time favorite foundations, but I still wanted to include a wear test so I can do the best at the end, and you know, you can come back and see what it actually looks like on my skin, because I'm going to be bringing you in front of the window so you can see from close, natural lighting, no filters, what it looks like. And you're also going to be able to see me wear it all day. So I will link the playlist down below if you are interested, and I also did a drugstore version, so if you want to see me testing a bunch of best-selling drugstore foundation, you can click down below for it. By the way, my skin is all over the place, which means it's great to test foundations because I'm combination, so I definitely get oily in my T-zone, but I'm also dehydrated mostly around my nose, so it means if you have dry skin and you want to see if the foundation will stick to dry patches, my nose will be the place to look at. So let's do this. Okay, so obviously I'm not wearing any foundation right now, so I'm going to be applying my precious Lancome Teint Idole in the shade 220C. Which is more my summer shade. I'm kind of in between right now, but we're just going to pretend everything is fine. It obviously has a pump. That's the benefit with higher end foundations. They definitely tend to all have pumps. So this is what it looks like. Actually, let me do a little swatch because we're going to see how much darker it dries. So this is what it looks like. It's pretty much my skin tone, right? So I'm going to do half just to show you the coverage. I don't have that much going on right now. My skin has been doing actually pretty good, but I do have like two little spots here. I should start it on this side, but whatever. Like I was mentioning, one of my favorite foundation because it looks like skin, but gives you medium to full, like more like full coverage. And it lasts so well throughout the day. I have worn this for like events, like let's say I wake up at like 5 in the morning to go take the train and then, or a plane, whatever, and go in a different city, do a photo shoot or whatever, and then come back home and like it's 11 o'clock at night and my foundation still looks great. I've obviously reapplied powder maybe like twice, but it hasn't separated and it just still looks amazing. And it's one of those foundations that whenever I feel like my skin is looking really terrible and I just want to cover it up so I don't have to think about it, I go for that foundation because once again, it covers everything, makes me feel much better, but it still doesn't look cakey and it doesn't emphasize dehydration nor makes my oil worse, and overall it's just such a fantastic foundation. And they have 45 shades, I believe, officially. I don't think they have all of them at Sephora. I think it's going to depend on your country and everything, but I'm just going to blend down my neck a little bit. Okay, so this is half. You can see that everything is more even. Again, there wasn't that much to go on that side, but you can see that it still looks like skin. And again, I will bring you in front of the window so you can see from close the texture, but it just looks flawless. And I used to use this when I had dry skin. Actually, I did do a first impression like 3 years ago, which I will link if you have dry skin and want to see it on my dry skin. You can see it there, but I used to keep it just for like events and everything because it was a bit too much for me at the time during the day. But now I do use it once again whenever I feel like I need the coverage. And I'm applying a thin layer. You can see me swiping the sponge, which is great if you want a thin, even layer instead of like getting full coverage. So it can definitely be even more full coverage than what I'm going to be doing. But I don't need that much coverage at the moment, and it's how I prefer applying it. I feel like it looks just like skin whenever I do it that way. And you can see that thin layer is enough to almost fully cover my two little pimples. So I'm going to apply a tiny bit more with my finger wherever I need a bit more coverage. Usually I would use a concealer for that, and I probably will want to do that, but just to show you, you can definitely build it up. It's enough for this one. This one's a bit more tricky because it's pretty dry. I have been applying products to kill it, and obviously drier skin is harder to make look natural. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like right now. Actually, I'll bring you in front of a window, but still you might get an idea of how natural this looks. If you have dry skin, you might not need to powder it. I will always powder because I'm definitely more combination, like I mentioned. And I want to be consistent, obviously, for each review. But you can see that it does get a little darker once it's dry. It's not fully dry. Obviously, this is like super thick layer that I will never put on my face, but it kind of gives you an idea that it doesn't become like super straight up orange or anything. This one is supposed to be cool tone. In my opinion, it's more neutral. and I kind of appreciate that because I feel like so many range of colors, whenever they say cool tone or even neutral, they'll be either very, very pink or peach or like straight up still yellow. And I feel like this matches me perfectly. Okay, so I'm bringing you in front of the window so you can see it. And I just did the fresh swatch next to the other one. So you can see that it definitely dries darker. The color actually matches me better afterwards. Again, not this thickly. I don't know why I did such a thick swatch. But you can see on my face, it didn't like become too crazy, not orange whatsoever. And let me do a very, very, very close zoom. I'm always hoping to catch my nose being dry, but you can see that it's one of the only foundations, if you've seen any of my other try on foundation videos, look how, like, there's not any emphasis on dry patches. Like, it's doing so well considering. And same thing with my chin, which hopefully you can see a texture. Considering this is like a dry pimple, same thing with this one. I think it's looking really, really good. In my cheeks, there's no emphasis on my pores or anything, and even the lines that I have because I'm still really swollen from the surgery, the foundation is not accumulating there whatsoever. Same thing in between my brows. Actually, I'm realizing I didn't do my brows. What the hell? Do you ever do that? Sometimes you realize, oh, I didn't apply mascara today. Well, I'm just realizing I didn't do my brows. I guess it's because they're doing pretty good right now. Yeah, so overall the foundation is great. Considering the amount of coverage, I also can't feel it on my skin. Like, it's not super heavy. And I mean, there's a reason it's one of my favorite foundations. So I just wanted to include, you know, a wear test so I can do that final best and worst and everything. But you can see, that's why I like it. Okay, so we are now over 10 hours later, and I wanted to update you before I take off my makeup. Oh, it was a long day. My makeup is still on my face. I'm definitely shiny, but the foundation did not separate, which is my main thing. I feel like at about like 6 hours, depending on, you know, the weather and everything, it's probably when I would touch up, reapply some powder just to make sure everything stays in place and isn't this shiny. But obviously, for the sake of this video, I don't repowder so you can actually see what the foundation looks like. The only place that there's a change is on my nostril, which is 100% my fault. Allergy, fall. I've been blowing my nose, so the foundation obviously did not resist all of that. But everything else, everything looks great. And it didn't separate, which is like literally the only thing I want. So I'm going to do a close up and then I'll remove the excess oil so you can see that the foundation still looks great underneath. Okay, so from up close, you can see, looks great. Obviously my forehead is shiny, but I don't know what is up with my lighting. It's the first time I use it at night since I got those new lights, so I feel like things are looking a bit yellow. I will have to like play and see if I can fix that because new lighting and everything at night, it's a little weird still. So you can see it still looks really, really good. Again, the only place it disappeared is on my nostrils. My chin is usually where you could see some separation, and it still looks great. It's just such a good foundation. Yeah, it looks super yellow. Hopefully I can fix that when I'm editing. But yeah, overall, Lancome Teint Idole Foundation, holy grail for me. I have used up a few bottles of this. I can't recommend this enough. It just doesn't have any crazy scent. The texture is really good. It's like not too thick, not too thin. It covers so well. It lasts all day, as you can see. I just have nothing but good things to say about this. I have like a winter shade too. Actually, I have the old packaging. So 110C. Actually, I should have swatched both. There you go. So 110C and then 220C. There's definitely a good amount of difference. But you saw that whenever it dries, it becomes a bit darker too. I definitely recommend checking it out at Sephora. There's a Sephora sale coming up. But all year round, I would absolutely repurchase this. It's one of the foundations that, like, if I was stuck with, like, no makeup left and I had to restart fresh, it would come back in my collection right away. If that's not a huge statement, I totally forgot to do this. Let me come back and do this right now. So, just toilet paper because we're very bougie here. You can see there's very, very minimal transfer. And the foundation just looks great. That's all it needed, really. I'm oily. I just use any paper or toilet paper, I guess. It works too on a budget, on the go. I just do this. I'll reapply a little bit of powder. And then I'm good to go. I have like nothing to say because this foundation is just... So I think that if you count these two bottles, I have had 4 different bottles of this foundation. That's also another huge statement considering that I probably test dozens and dozens of foundations every year and I still go back to that one. So that's going to be it. Once again, I will be linking down below the playlist of this series. I hope you're enjoying it. And definitely don't forget to give this one a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe because the official best and worst will happen very soon. And I will be putting some other videos on the screen that I recommend you check out. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.